Hello everybody, it's Damon, Crazy Logics 007 on YouTube and Crazy Logics on the forum. Today we have a light switch out of a 97 Jeep Grand Cherokee. This goes through several years. I'll put it in the description or something. I have done one of these before. This is for a friend at work. He is fixing up a Jeep for his daughter. She's about to turn 16, I think he said. And I did this on our Jeep. And so the problem is that your headlights sometimes will flicker, your dash lights will sometimes flicker. It does it really bad if it's in auto. So you're always having to put it in the manual. If you touch it or tap it, your dash lights will come on and off, other things. So auto like sends it into crazy sometimes. And normally what it is bad solder joints. So we're going to take this one apart, clean it, and see about fixing those solder joints. I know I have to pull this to get it apart, so I'll have to be careful because it's a 97, so it's now 23 years old, and that plastic's had plenty of time to get brittle, so I'll have to be real careful. I don't remember if I have to pull this. I'll probably fast forward, not super fast, but through taking it apart, just enough to make sure you can see. But then we'll get to the meat and potatoes of it. So let's start with pulling the back off here. And this is a lamp, and we will look at those lamps. Also, I'll probably see if I still have some. If I do, I'll put new lamps in it, because really you don't want to just fix this thing and put it all back together and then realize you got to take it back out because the lamp's burnt out. So if I got them, we'll stick them in there. So as I'm putting stuff away, I like to just stick the screws with it. But most of the bad connections are here and here. These actually go over to there, sorry. But I like to take the whole thing apart because we want to clean over here. And we also want to take the lamps out and we'll test them. I'll see if I can. Come on out of there. Anyway, like I said, that is a little silicone boot on top of that rubber lamp, or on top of that lamp. We'll test them. We'll see if they're easy to replace. I will. If not, maybe he can replace them before he sticks it in if he's that worried about it. We'll see. And here's another lamp. This one's got some discoloration, but you can see. Oh, if I can get it to roll. I don't know if you can see that. That is actually a blue silicone little booty over those lamps to give it the blue look, because back then they didn't have blue LEDs as common as we do now. So that's the light pipe. This is part of the light pipe. See if we can clean that up a little bit. If I remember correct, we can release a couple tabs on this and carefully pull it apart and clean all the contacts. But the big dog part we're looking for is this, and you can already see that board wiggles. And so if I was to grab my thing and give it a look, see, yeah, perfect. All right, so let's see if we can do the old camera trick here. Let's see. All right, that's working. Let's see if Yeah, if we can get. There we go. All right. Guys, see the cracked joints? I'll try to wiggle it here. Yeah. You see all the tips of that solder? See if I can get a pointer in here. Yeah. Right up here, that's all cracked. All those joints are bad. You may have some bad ones elsewhere, but what we're going to do is you'll need a solder sucker, a solder bulb, and some solder wick and some fresh solder. But we're going to remove the old solder and clean this up a little bit, and then add all nice fresh new solder on all those joints. And then I'll see, I can't remember if I had to take this apart or not. We may just spray some deoxit in there. It may just be fine, because this is obviously the problem right here. So we'll fire up the solder. I'll probably do a little fast forwarding as we just suck that all away, and then we'll flow in some new. Technically, you probably could have left that in there, as long as you don't have any other things. I'm going to squirt some deoxit in this slider. And see, this has even got an LED in it. So we'll see. I'll bring it back whenever we got the soldering iron all heated up and stuff. Okay. So if I get a little something to point, so you can see how these are all pointing little sticks. We're going to clean that up. We're going to clean all this up a little bit better. And so the problem with this, while I'm cleaning this, I'll try to explain, is they started using lead-free solder everywhere. And automakers did not do a really good job when they started using lead-free solder everywhere of updating their designs for the more brittle solder. And so leaded solder is a little more ductile, and it can withstand vibrations from a car a little bit better. Now this thing's 23 years old, so for it, to last that long is pretty good. Leaded solder still will end up breaking and doing this too, but lead-free solder seems to do it worse in a lot of things. And so it's super common in Jeeps. Everything in Jeeps, ABS, the PCs, the light switches, all kinds of stuff can be repaired this way, because they just get vibrated and I break solder joints at the plug connectors almost all the time, so you'll probably see more of this from me. There's lots and lots of cars out there that do it. Doesn't necessarily have to be a Jeep, but Jeeps are notorious for it. So we will get this sucker cleaned up. Make sure all the solder joints on it are fresh. We'll check the bulbs. Technically, you could not even take it apart, it looks like it. I couldn't remember from the last time I did it, so I was taking it apart just in case. It does allow me to get some deoxit down in here and make sure the slider is nice and smooth and everything. So I'm a little worried that this joint is not very good. No, I think it's okay. I don't think anything holds that except for being clipped in. So, but there's a lot of old flux residue on this board. I'm going to clean it all up. Clean up the places where the lights go. Do a little more fast forwarding. Nobody wants to hear me blather. They would rather see the fixes. I'm just going to touch up these other solder joints that aren't in a stress spot. No, I can even show you here. Have to do a little more cleaning, but let's see if we can. See that? See that ring around this terminal closest to me? That is a crack all the way in that solder joint. So, do a little work there. I'll just touch all these up. I'm going to suck away from this. Make sure this is good and solid. But even that one cracked. And then we will start putting all that back together. So I snapped it back in here to make sure it's flat and aligned in the way it's going to be mounted into the car, so I don't put any flex or stuff in there, because I think the last time I did this, I took mine apart, realized it, and then put it back together and soldered it up just like this. So you don't have to take it apart. I know it started out that way, but hopefully you watched the video, or if you did take it apart, you've cleaned up all your other stuff, made sure everything else is good. It ain't gonna hurt nothing, especially putting a little deoxit in a pinch. You can use some WD-40 to help clean out and lubricate the slider for the dimmer on the interior lights. Oh, and if in my videos you're hearing all this weird noises. I have the garage open. It's summer. It's beautiful on the nice days to keep it cool. I can't have my fan blaring on me while I'm recording, unless I'm just going to be doing fast forward footage. But that's the bugs, the summer bugs. The sounds of the highway off in the distance, because the garage door is open. If somebody drives by, you're going to hear them. But, you know, if you end up in the middle of winter watching this, at least you can hear some summer bugs, I guess. Alright. I'm going to put the screws back together and we'll get to the lamps when I come back, and I'll show you testing real quick, and then I'll text my buddy and see what he wants to do. I'll see if I got any in my stash. So I'm just going to put the screws back in and the knobs back on. But as you can see, let's give you a little zoom in on the new solder joints. Nice. And no cracks, which is what we want, because that'll make this function now. So now those joints are making good connection between the plug and the board itself. And that's all this fix is. We'll do more like this. There's lots of things out there. Some of them are a little more complicated. This one was real easy. So we'll jump back to the bulbs. Okay, we got that back together, and I just got my power supply at 12 volts, and we're going to check the lamps. That one's good, and that one does not look good, so we'll have to look and see if I have any. Okay, I pulled the little rubber booty off, and I want you to see that if we can get to focus. That's the little silicone boot that goes on top of this little bulb. I think I have the right size. Oh, hey puppy, how are you? How are you? I think you escaped. I think I better take you back over to my neighbors real quick. Sorry about that. The across the street neighbor's dog came for a little visit. He'd got out, and so we had to take him back over. My pupper will be jealous now of me. So these lamps are wound around these on the top side so that they make contact with the copper here. Now I think this is the right size. Let me look here, let me make sure. Well, that's awfully close if it ain't. So you unwind it. You might be able to buy these already wound on the base. I don't know. They probably don't have the little blue tips, but I've got these because I've fixed other dash interior pieces for myself and for friends, and they're handy to have. And yes, I will show you a part number in just a second. As a matter of fact, you can see the package peeking over there to the upper left. We get this, we get these all straightened up so we can pull these out. There is the old bulb, and we will stick the new bulb in. And then you just follow where it was. And so let's see if I can see how it's going to go down, and it's going to go around and back down again, and then it goes across, and then you will snip it off and kind of pull it tight. to snip it off where you can hold it there. But that gives it the two metal contact areas. We will put the blue bulb piece back on. There's the old bulb. And now, ta-da, we have light. So that is fixed. I do not have this bulb, so he's just going to have to go with it as it is. Oh, it goes up here. And if he needs to replace it, he'll have to replace it. Sorry, bud. But at least this one will be working. Bam. And we're all soldered up and we're together. And put the switch back on. And then since this switch had been off and it had been cracked a little, I'm just going to put the smallest dab of E6000. This will make it removable, but it'll keep it from getting so floppy on there that it just falls off and gets lost. Nobody wants that. So we're just going to put a paper towel here, squeeze out a little. Always got to get this first bit of it out because it's starting to dry up on me. I have to go get some new E6000. Get it to the little bit of the clear where it's flowing a little bit, and we just want to put a dab, just a dab on there. I don't even know if you can see that that's just the tiniest of dabs. And that will still pull off if it ever needs to come back off. But it'll keep it from just falling off. And bam. Towel out of the way. All that stuff is good. That should have that fixed up. And as I promised, I got these from Mauser. And the part number is a 560-23 standard wire terminal lamp. This works in all kinds of little holders like that. I've fixed Buicks, Jeeps, you know, it just, there's a lot of places those are used. And so that'll fix up your lamp there. The other one, like I said, I don't have any right now, so I can't help you on that, but it's the same kind of thing. Those bulbs are sold in different sizes. Sometimes you can get them at the auto parts store, like batteries and bulbs. But this should fix this. Now they won't have any problems with their light switch. And let's see what else kind of fun we can get into later. Hope this helped you. If so, you know, I appreciate likes and subscribes and comments always. Like I said, hope it helped. And thanks for watching. See you next time.